depth in here. I'm going to try to do just a couple warm-up sets of squats. And then if you guys got any automotive questions or you want to talk about whatever, we can. I've got about 25 minutes and then I'm jumping off of here. Good morning, Leroy. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Fly? So, got up this morning and another pound lighter. You guys are checking in, make sure you hit that thumbs up, please. And don't be afraid to say something. Just interact with the video. Watch my form, man. Appreciate it. I'll watch my form. Maybe I don't have the Wi-Fi on. Yeah, I don't have the Wi-Fi on. Sorry, that was the connection issue. The Wi-Fi is not on. Lift from the legs, right? I appreciate that sound advice. morning. I just had my cup. How's the video now that I turned the Wi-Fi on? Is it better? Is it not better? Kevin, good morning. It's getting a little hot in here. I had to turn the torpedo heater off. In case you guys don't know, my left knee on the inside. So if my knee sits like this with a cushion in between, the inside portion of my knee on my left leg is like this. It's touching completely. Like there's nothing inside the joint at all. They want to do a total knee replacement because you can't replace cartilage. So they're waiting. I've lost 90 pounds plus. They're waiting to do the knee surgery. They want to wait until I'm like 45. Next year I'm going to be 40. So with all the weight that I've lost, I actually don't feel like I've got all that much pain anymore. It's almost completely gone. So they said, you might be able to go until you're 50 years old with no cartilage, especially the way you feel now and losing all the weight and lifting weights and stuff. But I also just got out of physical therapy for disruption of my patella tendon. My kneecap dislocated and it shot off to the side, and I had to force it back in a position which stretched the patella tendon out, and I was out of work for a month. A lot of you were here for that. The entire month I was home. So I have to be very careful when I try to start going heavy with squats. It's not that I can't handle the weight. I get real shaky and unsure of myself because of my knee problems. So I just did a 205. This is 265. And then we'll see how it feels and we'll go from there. I feel strong. I feel like I'll have no problem going up to even 315. But ay, ay, ay. Yeah, those were interesting for sure. Appreciate the support, guys, with the well wishes and the great job and everything. I appreciate that. It does help me. It keeps me motivated. When I was the GM at Brighton, those were some interesting times, 1000%. What was the most interesting time that you seen I talked about on camera? Can you tell me that? Well, lady, scrolling through for the news this morning. Here, I can give you some news. Our stupid ass governor in the state of Illinois, excuse my mouth, but if you're from Illinois, tax on paint. Yes, paint in general, paint, household paint. He wants to put a higher tax on it. Our dumbass governor also decided that because you're a waitress or a waiter and you're getting no tax on your tips, that they're not going to comply with the federal government. And they're going to go out there and tax you as a state tax anyway, so they can make up the difference, because you're going to be paying taxes anyhow. It's either to the federal government or it's to the state. And our governor said, you don't get a break. You're not going to get no taxes on tips for being a waiter or a waitress. We're going to try to implement it to where you pay that tax that you used to pay the federal government now to the state government. There you go. That's our dumbass governor for you. And if you're from the state of Illinois, that should infuriate you. I don't know what to do about the lagging thing. Is it lagging for you guys, or is it fine? Alright, this knee is not liking me too much. It's getting a little wonky. Yeah, well, he also finds loopholes in condemning his mansions by pulling toilets out every year, so he doesn't have to pay taxes on inhabitable properties. So something where he would pay, I don't know, $150,000, $300,000 on taxes, he gets away scot-free because he pulls the toilets out of it, makes it inhabitable, pays his $10,000 measly taxes, and then puts all his toilets back in once tax season's over or is paid. So yeah, he pays his overpaid employees. Sure he does. Very well. With our dollars, while he gets away with tax evasion and does no time or doesn't get in trouble for it. And then he wants to sit up there and talk trash about Trump not paying his taxes, but then it comes down to it when they did the investigation that Trump actually did pay his taxes, for the most part. I don't know entirely, but all of a sudden when all the records came out, it wasn't that big of a deal anymore, once he showed proof. And now nobody's talking about it anymore. You know why? Because it wasn't as bad as everybody made it out to be. But the governor of the state, which is the richest governor in the state, in the entire United States, is getting away with this shit scot-free. Yeah. So what a solid governor we have. And the dumbass mayor of Chicago as well. The uneducated thug, the protesting champ, the guy that likes to go out and spin people up and get them against everybody. The next best thing since Barack Obama and his racial until Barack Obama came in office. And now we have a black mayor that basically the school board funneled millions of dollars into his campaign and had people start campaigning for him before it was even time. He didn't even fund his own campaign because he was a teacher on the school board. The school board funded the campaign, and then the school board could get what they want out of it. How about that? Put that in your coffee and drink it this morning and see how that tastes. An uneducated thug that was a protester causing problems and stuff on the street, and go figure, a teacher. It seems that our medical professionals are out here in the streets protesting and raising hell and causing havoc, And so are our teachers. Isn't that a common denominator lately or the last few years? Because we need to protest for injustice. When you leave the protest, what are you doing to stop it from happening? Nothing. You're just as racist before you came as when you left. It's all for a shame person, just like all these brown people, Black Lives Matter protests and stuff like that. Yeah, tons of dark-skinned people go out there and protest with the Black Lives Matter movement because they're brothers, right? But they hate each other before it, then they go fake, act like they care about each other, and then after, they continue to hate each other and be racist. Black people and Hispanic people are some of the most racist people towards each other that I've ever seen in my entire life. Yet they can't stand each other before, they put on a face during the protest, and then after they hate each other just as much. Which doesn't make sense to me. And I think Middle Eastern people, just and everybody else, but the majority of them, they like their own kind, that's it. They just don't want to say it out loud. Exactly. Pattern recognition is not racist. If we're seeing it happen in front of our face and we're consistently seeing it happen in front of our face, I mean, if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it must be a cat, right? Except Mayor Johnson and Governor Pritzker are supposed to not like each other. Is that a facade? Are they just playing us because they're talking about how they don't like each other and support each other's policies, but then they turn around and they're like best friends standing at each other as Johnson's trying to spit some uneducated thug BLers away to illegals, but he's done nothing for the black community. Nothing. Just like when Michelle Obama and Obama came in office. Barack was making all these silver spoon changes, but nothing was happening. And then Michelle comes along and says, I think we need to do something for the school system. We need to educate minorities. We need to educate black people on their health and what inherent problems they have genetically, and make them more, educated on the things that they may end up having to deal with. So I'm going to put all this money and time into the school system and revamping our health programs so people can be more educated about their health. And maybe we'll have people living longer. Maybe we'll have people taking care of themselves better. And then nothing. Zero. Squat. All the communities are just as dumb now as they were before, if not dumber. Nothing changed. Good morning. Now our food is skyrocketed. People can't afford to live. They're living off the dollar menu at McDonald's, and they're buying all their food at the dollar store. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. You can get some healthy choices at the dollar store. But let's face it, they don't give a shit about us. Yeah, nobody's doing nothing for us. That's why I started that program that I started last month where I feed the needy. Yes, I have conservative values. Yes, I'm against Republicans just like I'm against Democrats, because birds of a feather flock together, right? I really don't like either one of them. And I find a lot of the stuff even Trump says is BS sometimes. But you know what? Like everybody else, I voted for the best that we had. If there was something that would have been better, I would have voted for it. But there wasn't. So, since Reagan, none of them. Bush had his mind set on the money that was overseas. The Iraq war was pointless. They didn't do a damn thing. We fished out a leader that actually controlled the amount of deaths, even though he was a corrupt criminal and he killed his own people. But we fished out a leader and we killed him, which destroyed the Middle East even more and turned it upside down on its head. And now everybody's killing everybody. At least it was controlled chaos, and now it's just chaos. And it's been that way for years. Then we flood the entire world, different countries, Australia, Europe, the United States, everybody. We flood them with all these immigrants from all over the place, and now they're miserable. They're absolutely miserable. Look at Europe. It looks like a shit show. Australia's starting to get right there as well. Illinois, same thing. The United States, all over the place. Luckily, we're thinning some of this out. But just look at what's been done to the world. Since the Bush administration, look at the chaos, the amount of chaos that has been, that's happened. 9/11, the housing market, jobs tank, shit looks terrible. Everybody's convinced that this is normal. This is not normal. Then they flood the United States with illegals. Then they start giving taxpayers dollars away. There's more racial division now than there ever has been. Because that's what's dividing and pushing us. And I think people are starting to come together actually and starting to realize if we don't have each other's back and we don't stand hand to hand with each other, we don't have a chance of making it. We have to support each other. Throw politics out, and if we don't do it, we're fucked. And that's just that. All right, I need to start heading to the house. That's all they do. Yes, that's all they do. Lady, is they gaslight us. And they get up about this area, and then they look at Al Johnson was just talking about how safe Chicago is, and Governor Pritzker was like, "Oh no, Trump has no business in Chicago. It's safe here. It's safe here. You know, there's no problems." Then fucking 300 people get into a damn shootout in the middle of a tree lighting event in Chicago. I don't even know. Then you got some guy on a freaking public transportation setting some white girl on fire and burning her up after he's been convicted and been in prison, in jail, whatever, 72 different times, and the judge still lets the guy out on the streets, even after the prosecuting attorney said, "I don't suggest in letting this guy go. We should retain this guy. He's too much of a threat to the public." The judge puts him on an ankle monitor and lets him go anyway, and then he sets some white girl on a what was it, in the subway on fire. Come on, man. What was it before that? The judge in was that South Carolina or North Carolina, where the guy went and slit the white girl's throat on the bus, and she just spewed out and bled everywhere, and they just left her there to die. Again, diagnosed with schizophrenia and everything else, had him locked up 12 different times and still put him back out on the street. Never allow that to happen. But these Democratic judges, because the system is so fucked up and the jail is so full, they put them right back out on the street to continue doing the same thing that they did before. When do these judges get held accountable and do prison time for this? How come we're being accountable for crimes and stuff that we commit, well, based on color,
white and black people get locked up and they don't get let out. That's just a fact of the matter. If you're white or black and you're an American in the United States, you're getting locked up and you're not getting let out. But if you're of brown skin tone and you're from the Middle East specifically, you're getting let out. You literally, down the street from me, guy committed murder, vehicular homicide, Middle Eastern dude, 27 years old. 2.5 hours later, the guy that he purposely hit with the car because he was in a confrontation with his son and hit the father with the car, died 2.5 hours later. They asked for an extension at court. He got the extension. They asked for another extension. He got it. And they asked for some freedom. So they give the guy from 6 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock at night to roam the streets. He gets a new BMW with a white Punisher skull on the side so he can rub it in everybody else's face. So you tell me the system's not fucked up. If anybody should be coming together, it's white and black people. Because where we used to fight each other, now we're actually the minority of everything that's going on here. Do people not get that? Are they not seeing that? Yeah. Anyhow, I need to get out of here. I need to get to work. I could continue on and on and on and just rant and be a Yahoo on here, but I hope this reaches somebody that would have a civil discourse, a nice conversation in the comment section. But anyhow, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. I got to get in here. I got turkey breasts on the smoker. I got to package it up and get to work. So I catch y'all later. Be blessed. I love y'all. Take care. Lady, subscribe. You won't regret it. I'm telling you right now. You won't. Anybody that watches this video later, please subscribe to the channel. Let's be a family. Let's change each other's lives. Let's change other people's lives as well. But we got to do it through stuff like this. People with bigger platforms that are speaking freely that can get the message out there. Nobody else is going to do it for us. Thank you, guys.